Live from Music City, Nashville, Tennessee, this is your motivational, sensational, inspirational, educational, aspirational, international, keenly awaited, daily created, highly anticipated edition of the afternoon swing trading floor with your humble host, Jeremy Alexander, with another daily dose of mentally delicious brain food, reminding each of you to love life, live life, and trade it. What's going on? Friends and fans and followers. Clive Higgins says hello. My boy Daryl says, yeah, it is. What's up, sir? There's my friend Michael says hi again. Hey, buddy. The one and only Charles March. What's up, Chuck? Hope you're doing great, man. I miss you the bad way. Glad that you and I get to chat very soon. Joanne says greetings. Daniel says hello, guy. Hey, bud. How's it going, guy? Let's see. Jill says, hi, Jeremy. Hello, Jill. Joe says, hello, hello. Joseph Smith III says, hey, bud, how are you? Doing great. Damien says, hi. Hi, Damien. All right, team, let's rock it out. Today is technically Transportation Thursday. But, of course, we can look at a few other stocks. There's obviously a few other things that are gapping and moving and all that kind of good stuff. So what we're going to do is just kind of dive in. But before we do that, let's look at the broader market. And as we've been discussing, the markets are slowly continuing a little bit higher. So we have made a little bit of a bullish move today. We have a good amount of volume increase. We had a one white soldier, which was a beautiful gap yesterday, just a nice gap, and really just a continuation and a follow through today. Nothing specifically sensationally spicy, but a good trend, right? Here's the hourly chart, and the hourly chart, you had a nice little trend on the hourly. So here's the hourly right here. And again, things look nice for the most part. Presently, I mean, the big question is, when's the resistance going to kick in? And I think the answer to that is somewhat soon. Remember, last week was actually an inside week. So here's the week, inside a week last week. So that gave us room to continue higher. So we have popped out of here. We do have another day left in the week. And I don't know exactly how high we're going to go before we really start to pause. But if I pop down here to the daily chart, what I can do is I could do a quick fib based on pretty much purely the highs and lows of this move. So I come over to here, come to here, and come to there. We've just broken the two-wave extension. So from here, I mean, could we go up to the 2618 before we actually get a real pause? And the answer is, of course. Market can do anything. But it does seem that we're going to trade up into the 276-ish region before we do anything crazy, at least based on FID. 1, 2, 3, a little bit of a wave structure, 4, and some wave 5. Again, volume coming in, good gap, good trend. We could just continue to slowly keep creeping higher. So I wouldn't be looking for particularly a top on SPY. Again, one can come in at any point in time, but just not going to look to play one myself. Here's the 15-minute charts, and 15-minute chart today just kind of hung out. A little bit of buying at the tail end of the day as usual, and post-market we're already up some. So the SPY, the E-minis, the futures are up a little bit out there, and it looks like we could just have a little bit more of a follow-through tomorrow. So should be pretty exciting. Here's the Dow Jones, ticker symbol DIA, and the Dow today also a little bit bullish, but it was purely an inside day candle. Keep in mind, volume also was really nice. Inside candle today, it was a retest gap, slow bullish trend, but for the most part looks pretty decent. Here's the weekly time frame, and again, very similar to the SPY. You have, what took 3 weeks for us to go lower has taken 6 weeks for us to almost get back up. Like, what is this, 67%? More than that. So all the way to the bottom, we've already retraced. Yeah, we've fully broken the 618, which is a lot of people thought we were going to roll over there. And my thought is, I mean, realistically, if the Dow, which it looks like is going to happen, closes above this candle this week, then we'll probably just keep creeping higher. And based on the gap that Facebook had on earnings, which we'll talk about today, it seems that we really could be poised to see new all-time highs in the market again at some point in 2019. The bounce off the 200 simple on the SPY was legit. Here's the Qs, and the Qs are also up nicely today. So here's the daily chart, and you had a really beautiful gap both today and yesterday. So today's gap was a retest gap, and here's the 5-minute chart. And if you're looking at just the first 5-minute bearish candle, you got your inside candle followed by another inside candle. So for my option traders, you probably focus on the Qs a lot. The last 2 days for my option traders were probably, or at least hopefully, some really good days because you did have solid gaps pretty much across the board and a lot of things happening in a good fashion. That's the Qs, and with Amazon moving, you know, it could probably going to impact the SPY and the Qs a little bit. So again, we're up a smidge right now, and we'll just have to see what the market gives us. But yeah, as far as trading futures tonight or some, you know, later in the night, I'm just looking at from here pretty much buy the dip. Yesterday did precisely what what we talked about on Tuesday with a gap above those 2 bearish candles. Didn't know that was going to happen for sure, but it did happen. And yeah, looking good. So that was the Qs. Here's the IYT, which is the transportation ETF. And the IYT, this is the weekly chart. And obviously, again, you can see things look pretty similar out there with everything else. But we are coming into the 100 simple on the IYT. You had a bearish inside candle last week. So again, we closed up here. So tomorrow is relatively bullish at all in the market. We have a little bit of a bullish close. I think we're just going to get a little bit of a retest and slowly keep creeping higher on this retracement. The primary trend in the markets, I mean, at this point, you know, if you really zoom out, they're bullish, right? So I mean, we're still making higher lows and lower highs. This little quick dip right here on a monthly chart just looks like a little flash in the sand. And obviously, we could roll over. You know, we could have that new low in the bounce, but a lot of people were asking, you know, on the SPY. As we come back to the daily chart, all my market reviews and things like that, I really did want another rotation down. I was hoping for that because I would just make it really easy, but it doesn't seem that we're going to get one. I mean, ever since this candle, strong bullish gap and go, and then this was the consolidation, right? That did allow the market to rest right there. So from here, once we've had that move, and we've gapped out of that with a good gap and volume, who knows? I really don't. I mean, it just seems a little bit more bullish to me. So let's just keep riding this train and see what we can play. And tomorrow will be a fun day with all the earnings going on out there. Amazon's definitely on the list, but we'll look at it later. Let's go look at HyreCar. This is the first on the list for today, and it is a transportation stock. HyreCar Technology. The reason that you could keep an eye on this one is because some good volume spikes are coming in, and we are getting some decent little retracements. So again, you got this little pop, nice retest, very pretty high wave candle, good close above the candle, another retest. There's the S curve. There's a continuation higher, another S curve, boom, bigger S curve down. Decent looking trends. Here's a very pretty bullish high wave candle on the 23rd of January. We closed above that on the 25th. We retested the highs of that candle exactly the very next day. And that high coincides pretty nicely with the high of this candle over here as well. So you can see this giant upper shadow candle on the 14th of August. So realistically, if you're looking at playing HyreCar, ticker symbol HYRE, I would just look for a pullback into that spot, which is about 410. Not a very expensive stock. This one could be a fun one for traders with a smaller account. to investigate, research, determine, find out if you like the company, if you like the stock, if you like their future, all that good stuff, and then wrap it up from there. See if you want to take some investments, take some positions. By the way, today is the end of January, which means it's time for all the real life traders out there to kind of post your results. Let us all know how you did. Keep us filled in. We're starting to, in the Slack channel, this is the channel that hopefully a lot of you will subscribe to and access in later days and weeks. But every single month, we like to post our tallies, post the good, the bad, the ugly. My boy Yates getting 2.93 Rs. Mark getting 2.85. Scott getting 1.5. He said it was short of his goal of 5 Rs, but he gained 2.5 Rs day trading, lost 1 hour swing trading. So keeping it small, but winning, right? That's the thing is, even if you can win small, that is a result, and it keeps you in the game, keeps you learning, gives you study time, gives you time in front of the charts, helps you grow, helps you slowly battle back. I mean, it's important. There should only be 4 outcomes in your trading. Win big, which rarely happens. Win small, lose small, or break even. If you want to call that, an outcome. Break even with an M. So that should be it. Those should be the 4 outcomes of your trading. Win big, win small, lose small, break even. There should be no big losses. There shouldn't be any gambling where you go, I wonder if this works. Let me just throw some money out here, do this, do that. Take some random risks. Take some risks I'm not used to. If you're gonna lose, that's fine. Just lose small. But if you do one of these long enough, again, you're gonna get experience, you're gonna get growth, you're gonna get time in front of the charts, you're gonna recognize and start seeing patterns that you like. It will slowly begin to happen. Very similar to the interview we had on Wednesday, which a lot of people liked. And for those of you who didn't get a chance to listen to that live, I'll be sending that out this weekend. So that's HyreCar, ticker symbol HYRE. Now, let's go check out Tesla. And Tesla, I must say congratulations to all of my option sellers, because this was really perfect gap on Tesla for an option seller, meaning there was really no gap at all. It just kind of opened and that was it. Now this morning when we were day trading it, I said, hey man, look for a bullish fade, right? Look to fade Tesla bullish, look to be long. You had a bunch of white candles. This was a retest gap right here. So that was a retest gap. It was a small open. I figured it would come down, flesh into the low of that, and then kind of bounce. Robert Falco says 50% of the premium disappeared overnight on his March put sale, which is all the way down there at 150. By the way, pretty much tomorrow or Monday, that thing will be almost worthless. Yeah, once a few other stocks come out, and like I said, it just kind of dries up. There's still a 100% implied volatility down there at 150, and I do expect, if not tomorrow, by Monday, that should be mostly gone. And if it's not, look to see if we can make some other sales. But Scott has a put sale February at 245, so that's going to slowly evaporate. Anyway, if we go into a 5-minute chart, this is what Tesla did on a 5-minute time frame. And I did not trade Tesla today. There's just a lot of great things out there, a lot of really good trade setups. But this blue line, if I turn all the moving averages off, you can see on this blue line, I mean, that was a good pre-market support. It was pretty, traded down, tweezer bottom, 1 penny away from a perfect tweezer bottom candle, bounced, bullish high wave, and then just ran. Later in the day, and again, I'll be sending out the recording of today's day trading as well. I think you're going to really love it. I had a trader ask me, hey, Newsom, where would you buy calls on Tesla? And I drew this little old resistance from this bearish candle, and that was the high of the day resistance. And I said, there. Buy some calls right there. And that's when Tesla was up in 308 range. So even that little move, I mean, 304 to 309, as you know, Seymour, is a wonderful trade on options. So good little move on Tesla. We'll see what she does tomorrow. As far as, going forward from here, pull up the hourly chart on Tesla. And this is a good support level, 293. So if you're playing Tesla bullish, buy low, sell high into that range. If it consolidates and then starts to pop bullish, fantastic. And if for any reason at any point in time Tesla closes below the low of this candle, then I'll expect Tesla to slowly creep down lower. But today's candle is important on Tesla. More or less, you have a high wave candle with an upper and lower shadow. So if it breaks out of that candle pattern at some point, be ready to make a move. Next on the list is WAB, Westinghouse Air Brake Technologies. Westinghouse. So Westinghouse having itself a doji hammer-ish candle. And we're going to talk more about this particular pattern, but again, I'm a fan because you'll notice the support right here, very obvious support. Super clean, super simple, tremendously easy to spot. The low of this candle, 6545. Low of this candle, 6509. Which means anyone who was in long just barely got flashed out, they got stopped out, and then it bounces with that hammer candle. So we can use that to our advantage. And now you have this little pennant pattern right here on Westinghouse. So if this thing was going to go bullish, there's two ways you could probably play this. One, you could have an entry here at 70.38, and you can also do like a secondary entry. So if you wanted to, I'm not going to do this as an official trade because it's a little too complicated right now, but you could just do half an R at each entry. So half an R, if it breaks out and just runs to the moon, and then this could be another half an R just in case it pulls back first before breaking out, and then your stop loss will go right below the low of this candle. Seymour says, which would be good, vertical put sale premium if it's there. Sure. Yep. Here's the 5-minute chart. Sorry, hourly. Let me look at the 5-minute. Hourly time frame. Yeah, not bad. So if we were going to do just a regular old directional swing trade, we could do something like this on Westinghouse Air Brakes. Let me just look at the weekly chart to see if there's like a support or something down here. Oh, it is trading sideways. Okay. So I bet that means that the monthly long terms are down here somewhere. Oh, nice. Right off the 100 on a monthly. The cool news tomorrow, brand new monthly candles. That's important because if anything gaps tomorrow, that gap will be magnificently important for the most part, especially if it clears any pivots. So WAB. Let me also just look at some premium for a credit spread. What do we got down here? $60 March pays 120, and a 55 pays about 70 cents. Nah. Monthly volume looks very bullish down there, says Seymour. I agree. All right, we'll come back to Westinghouse tomorrow and see what it does. If it all looks good, then we'll just set that trade up and make magic happen. Keep an eye on that. Faux show. All right, so take that half an hour off. Wonderful. By the way, everyone enjoying the free week so far? Liking the recordings, liking the trading room, everything going good? Any questions before I dive into any other trades? Albert says, yeah. Emmanuel says, oh yeah. Alex Mama throwing in a 1. Arabia's loving it. Beautiful. Well, I appreciate that, folks. Adam Bell says he's loving it. Great. Well, thank you. Thanks for everyone being here. It's been a wonderful opportunity to trade and meet new friends and faces. Let's go look at another stock. This is ICLK, iClick Interactive, and this is the one that pulled up just because of all the volume coming in. We started looking at this one back on the 25th of January. So if you did catch this little run up, congratulations. Again, not a super expensive stock, but look at that double bottom. Very pretty double bottom. Again, nice looking little trend Volume looks nice. It's looking pretty. This one can keep going for a little bit. I mean, I know the volume is slowing down a smidge, but a little bit of a pullback and a dip buying opportunity on ICLK for anyone playing that one. It does look nice. I know the volume is not magnificent, but you're probably not playing options on that one. Most likely you're just playing shares. Seymour says we're probably good until about 9-ish. Yeah, I mean, 9 would be great. That'd be a huge move. But if you zoom out, I mean, that's the resistance up here, 859-ish, somewhere right around there. So I like the double bottom. I like the volume. I think it's a nice little dip buying opportunity. And I'm gonna throw that on. I'm gonna throw that on for the week next week. By the way, just speaking of next week, if anybody does want to be here next week, the last day of the open house is tomorrow. So Friday, I know that went by way too fast, but I do this every single day of the week, Monday through Friday. If you want to continue with me, hop in. Feel free to sign up today. If you wait until Sunday, that's totally fine. The deal ends in 4 days, 8 hours, 38 minutes, and 27 seconds. But for what we could argue is a half of a good trade, $189 a month, totally worth it. And you're going to get even more savings if you do like the 4-month plan or the 1-year plan for $19.95. Charles says, what are the hours for the hedging classes next week? That's a very good question, Charles. It's a very good question. As I type in, here's the webinar. Let me pull this up. Hedging with options. I'm literally going to have to click on this. It's 6 p.m. Central, 7 Eastern. I'll be sending out these links and everything. Don't worry. So everyone will get sent out these links. I know that there's going to be some traders signing up at the very last minute on Monday. If you can do it before then, that would be wonderful. Like I said, the earlier the better, because a lot of it's manual. You know, we go through and see if everyone's good, everyone has everything they need, send you out everything. So go ahead and join the community, sign up, be a part of the team. It's a wonderful opportunity. It's a great experience. And like I said, the options, hedging with options will start next week at 6 p.m. on Monday, 6 p.m. Central, 7 Eastern. Okay. Clive says, fans are paying more than that to sit the Super Bowl game, right? And they're not even making any money at the Super Bowl. They're just watching. I'm with you, my brother. Okay, so here's Raytheon. So here's some RTN. Raytheon is on, this is the daily chart, and this one was a decent gap down today. I watched it early this morning, and I guess I just didn't watch it quite long enough, although it didn't really have a wonderful breakdown. So this is the 5-minute chart, and let me turn the extended hours off for a second. Even looking at the extended hours, I mean, maybe you could have taken an entry here, but probably not. Yeah, I mean, this was a kind of a cool evening star reversal. No, I don't think I would have played RTN, but it's a decent gap down, right? Not very bad. Here's the weekly chart, and the weekly chart's a little bit of an upper shadow, doing its thing. You know, big candle, shaved bottom, looks a little bearish. Here's the long-term moving average. I don't see much on RTN right now. This candle, these shaved bottom candles, remember we just had a video come out about shaved bottom candles. So this one probably will retest, but based on that volume, we could have a little bit of a bearish day. So I don't mind throwing it on the list for Friday. So we'll check that out. We'll come back to this one. Type in a 1 if you have a position on this. NIO. I don't have anything on NIO, but I know a few people do. This is interesting. This has been moving too. So NIO, good volume, good candles. I mean, right now we're in a little bit of a channel, but what's exciting about this channel is it will break out at some point. You have, I mean, here's the channel. right there. Good volume. Again, a potential breakout of resistance, some type of retest and continuation. This one can become fun. I'm not saying it will break out in February, but I am saying that this channel will break out at some point. Could it just trade up to that resistance, right? Roll right back down, trade all the way back down to here, go a little bit lower and then bounce? That's probably what happens. Joanne says, I did 6 Rs and swing trades. I was in early 2 weeks ago, still holding. Woo! Nice job, Joanne. Buying low. I like it. Way to play, girl. Well done. So yeah, NIO. I mean, it's in a nice little channel. I'm just going to extend this line. And you might also have some shares and have enough shares to do, for anyone who has 100 shares or more, you could maybe consider some covered calls, but there's not really enough premium. Like a $9 covered call pays 30 cents. Although I will say this is a stock, this is a stock that I would do the strategy that I did when I had my first trade in my 401k when I worked at Nationwide. So at the time I had like whatever it was, 10,300 and some change, something like that. And I was swing trading with it. So in a situation like this, if you have a smaller account and you're just swing trading, you find a good pullback on a stock like this with really good volume, at a good support, and you buy it, turn right around and just sell the very next front month covered call. So for example, let's say you bought it on a pullback tomorrow here. You just bought it and then did an $8 covered call. You know, if you had $3,000, you could buy a decent amount of this stock at $7.88. You know, buy a decent amount. Do a covered call. More or less, you're just getting paid to exit at a target. The option that expires in 2 weeks at $8 pays 30 cents. So again, you're not robbing any banks, but this is the type of stock that, you know, good volume, not super expensive. You can do some research and easily find out how they make money. And again, I probably wouldn't buy it at this exact moment in time. Definitely would want a little bit of a pullback, but it looks cute. Day tradable tomorrow? Yeah. That is day tradable tomorrow for sure, up to about 8:11. Anyway, NIO looking kind of cool. Welcome to Southwest Airlines. Southwest Airlines. We'd love to have you. Ticker symbol LUV. Diane says, what's your thoughts on ABBV? I will check it out. Southwest Airlines, you gapped up. We made a new high, big resistance. This is the daily chart. Here's the weekly. And again, like most stocks, you have a huge amount of bullish candles in a row on a weekly. So whenever we do get this retest and pullback, it'll be pretty fun. The daily time frame on Southwest, in my opinion, if I was looking at playing this trade, I would try to look to buy back down here around 54. So 54 and some change would be good. The trade down to here, it could go a little bit lower, potentially, into this gap. I don't see anything that I absolutely am in love with on a short-term swing trade, but longer term, I mean, Southwest would be a good dip buying opportunity. And on the hourly chart, you know, it shouldn't really take out this low, 56.37. If that happens, I think Southwest could have a little bit of a pullback. Otherwise, the trend looks decent and bullish. Seymour, thank you for writing that kind note, man. I really appreciate that. Very kind of you. Thank you, Seymour. And again, just thanks everyone for being a part of the real life trading community. Our mission is to enrich lives. So I hope you felt a breath of fresh air from our trading room and just being around other like-minded individuals all week long. We still have one more day of the free week, as I mentioned, but I would highly encourage you to just at least check out, even if it's just for 1 month. If you like this week, try to do 1 month. Even 1 month. Imagine the things that you're going to learn in a month. in a month. A month is a long time. There's a lot to learn in a month. ABDDD? I don't think there's a stock for that. I think this was supposed to be ABBBB. Yeah, I think that was, because there's no ABBDD. ABBD. No, all right, ABBB. So on the daily charts, this is the hourly, it looks kind of cool, daily, and it's gapping down a little bit. I mean, where's your short put, Diane? I mean, I'm assuming it's 75 or something. 72.50. Yeah. When's it expire? February? I think you should be fine. June. Ah, you like selling really far outputs. Okay. I mean, if it's June, you shouldn't even worry about the day-to-day, I wouldn't think. If it opens below the low of tomorrow, which it looks like it might, you could day trade it short and make some money on the downside. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and put that on the list Friday morning, ABBV, because it does look pretty for a bearish trade if it opens below the low. If I'm looking at a monthly time frame, let's see. So it hasn't been around that long. Yeah, I mean, unless it closes below 76, I wouldn't specifically worry about too much. With a 72.50 put sale, June, you got loads of time. And if it comes down to that price and pokes its head between a little bit, anytime you sell a put, as long as you're comfortable with potentially owning shares anyway, that's shouldn't be an issue. So I'll be happy to keep an eye on it for you over the next few days and weeks, and or months, and just see what happens. Yeah, but nothing too drastic. Maybe we short it tomorrow, make a little bit of money on the downside, and then all is well. Home Depot, ticker symbol HD. Home Depot. I heard a rumor that Seymour has made some money on Home Depot at some point in time. Thomas says, I'm a part of the family for the games and the jokes. Are we supposed to be trading? Very, very valid point. There's a lot of puns at Real Life Trading. I will let you all know that I put at least one pun into every afternoon swing trading room. It might not be very good, but there's always at least one. There's always at least one solid pun somewhere. A little bit of an Easter egg. Got to hunt for it. The Home Depot. I mean, at this particular point in time, I mean, you have this nice, good volume. I mean, realistically, it's tracking with the rest of the market. If you look at the weekly chart, it looks the exact same. I mean, it traded down to an average, which was the 100. It broke through the average. A lot of people probably went short, thinking it was the end of the world. And I mean, it did look bearish down there, no question at all. But the SPY traded right down to the 250 on the weekly, and just getting a soft little bounce. Decent volume. Again, just interested to see how high the market goes before we do have any type of pullback, whatever the kind of pullback is. But until then, right now, just let the technicals do your thing. And if we do get that dip, then you'll probably get stopped out on some stuff. Home Depot right now looks like it's just sprouting a little bit higher. I like the retest gaps. I like the bullish candles. If I pull up the hourly chart, I would just say, buy the dip, probably around 182 and some change. Yeah, 181.50, something like that. Don't be too chintzy though, because look what I did on Procter & Gamble. Did you guys see this trade? Procter & Gamble. I mean, who? Oh, brutal. You guys know what we did on Procter & Gamble, right? We set that one up yesterday. Here in the trading room, low of the day was 94.08. And my entry was 94.04, which means I missed it. I did not get filled. And the ironic part is I'm looking at it and I can see why I should have had the entry higher too. Again, I beat myself up a little bit on trades. That's fine. That's what I do. The high of this candle, this bearish candle, is 94.12. I should have put the entry right there. Should have been 94.12 flat. We would have gotten filled, and that would have been a nice R and some change on the day. And that's really it on Procter & Gamble. So anyway, Ruby says, Procter & Gamble trade paying for your room. Thank you. Woo-wee. That's what I'm talking about. So Ruby got a little bit of a piece of it. Beautiful. Obviously played something a little different than I did, but that is the point, ladies and gentlemen. The point is, when I set up a trade, you're welcome to do anything you want to with it, but the goal is, if you can find something and I do my analysis and then you like it, and you go in and do your analysis, and then, hey, take that trade and kind of rock it out from there. What I do like about what Ruby said is that's very similar to how I trade. I think very similar to how Seymour trades, and many other traders out there in the trading room and real life traders. So for example, let's say that I have $3,230 of bills for a month. Okay, whatever those bills are. All right. So let's say you have a mortgage, whatever your mortgage is, I don't know, $2,985 or something. So okay, that's your mortgage, and every other bill obviously is probably pretty small if you have only that amount of bills. But what I like to do is find what's 1, 2, 3 bills that I could pay for with trading. Here's something that's going to pain most of you. Ready for this? I'm going to write it down. No one's going to like it. No one likes this right here. Take the money out and spend it. Seymour, how did that change your trading when you started doing that, man? No one likes taking their money out and spending it. I get that. I realize that. I understand that. But if you make some money, you got to take it out and reward yourself. You've got to link positivity with doing the right thing. So for me, when I'm taking a trade, even at the very, very beginning, long time ago, before I even really started knowing what was going on 7 years ago, if I had a $100 gain for the month, I would take out 50. I would go to a restaurant, and that'd be my money. I would eat $23 worth of chicken wings, and I'd have a beer, and I would leave the whole money as a tip. Right? I would just put a $50 bill on the table and cover the whole tip, and she, you want change? And I go, no, you keep it. And she would smile because it's $20 worth of the tip, and beautiful, right? So you're going to take some money out. You have to take every single dime. You don't have to draw your account down. But here's something that you want to kind of keep in mind. Type in a 1 if this has ever happened to your account balance. It doesn't matter the numbers, but I'm going to come up with some numbers that are really visceral for many people. A lot of people will trade around this $25,000 range, and they'll go up to about 28, and then they'll go back down to 25, and then they'll go back up to 28, and then they'll go back down to 25, and the cycle will continue. Joe says, always. Yeah, there you go. See? So this 25 to 28 cycle, let's just say that you're in this range. Let's say you make some money. You're like, okay, cool, I'm up this month. Great. I want to make a little bit more. So what do? You keep your money in there and you try to pull it up, let it grow or whatever. Instead of doing that, what if you had a good month, you made some money. You said, okay, cool. Let me pull out. So this is the $3,000 gain. Let me pull out $2,000. What that would do is forcefully take the account down from 28 to 26. And then let's say you went ahead and lost $1,000 back down to 25, but you're going to do that anyway. And then you rally back up from 25 to 28, and what do again? You take out $2,000 and you repeat that process. Say $2,000, blah, blah, blah. Okay, that goes into here. And now that $2,000, okay, now you have $4,000 that you've taken out of the account rather than just cycling between these numbers for eternity and not actually doing anything with it. Instead, you force your account to be a little bit smaller than it was, but not as small as it was because you did grow it. So you forcefully take money out, but you reward yourself. One of the first things that I ever bought was a new refrigerator. This was way back when, shoot, when was this? 2011? No, 2012. 2011, 2012, right around there. Okay. So if you do a situation like this, then the first thing I ever bought was I bought a refrigerator, brand new from Best Buy. Like I didn't even shop for it. Trust me, at the time, I needed that refrigerator, okay? Don't judge me for buying a new refrigerator. I don't buy used refrigerators. It's just one of my things. It's like used mattresses. It's like, no, I'm going to buy a new mattress and a new refrigerator. So I went to Best Buy, got a new refrigerator, and every time I opened that refrigerator, man, like that cold air got blown in my fridge. I'd grab a beer, crack it open, just feel so good about life. I was just so happy. The other thing that this will do is it will cause a mental cushion to begin, because as Glenn says, what happens if you lose 3 after taking out the 2? Well, that's a very good question, but normally most people won't do that. Most people actually will have a barrier at what they change their trading a little bit or something will happen. So let's say you do have a curve like this and it goes from 25 to 28. You take out 2, you're back to 26, okay? But when you go to 26, you lose 3. Now, that means that you're breaking through whatever the previous amount that you were in, and so you're like, oh man, that stings. But it stings a lot less than going from 28 to 23 and having absolutely nothing to show for it. Right? So you did pull out 2,000. You have some money, something to show it, so it won't be as bad. Your mentality won't be as attacked. So what happens if that occurs is you'll probably trade it. And let's say you trade from 23 and you make another 3 and you go back up to 26. What could you do? Well, it's like, okay, well, you're not as high as you were, so maybe you take out 1,000. Take out 1,000, now you're back at 25. And let's say you lose 3 again. And now you go back down to 22, which is lower than you were earlier. Like, well, Newsom, your account's going the exact wrong way. It's like, okay, but remember, you started at 25. So let's say you go from 22 back up to 25, and you go 22 to 25, which is a $3,000 gain. That particular month, you reward yourself very small. $50, $100. Right? Something where, you still reward yourself. Go out and get some chicken wings, says Thomas. Yeah, do something. You could give it to charity. You could give it to, you want to know a good one? This is one that helps me a lot, is I bought a present for my lady. All right, gentlemen? Okay, linking pleasure with doing the right thing. The lady was happy. Things became better. All right? So you put some money towards some good things, you get good juju back, all is well, smiles all around, and when you're at that 25 mark, it just helps you create that barrier so you don't feel as frustrated. Because if you do this cycle, it's frustrating, right? When you do that cycle, it's really frustrating. You just go up and down, but you're never doing anything with it. Money's meant to be spent. One of my favorite quotes, both the king and the pawn are put in the same box after the end of the game. So stimulate that economy. Go out, spend some money. I'm not saying all of it, okay? I'm not saying you have to hoard it. And you can let it grow. I mean, it can still grow, but over time, what will happen is, let's say this is your 2-year early trading cycle, and at the end of 2 years, your account's the exact same. 25, 25. You didn't make a single dime, but you took out 10 grand worth of winnings over that 2 years. Are you up? Yeah. So yeah, okay. So my account's the exact same amount, but I made 10 grand and realized cash that I pulled out. Yes, you have to pay Uncle Sam. Everyone knows that. Make money, you have to pay taxes. Okay. But in that situation, it's like, even if your account's the exact same, like, man, I made enough money to do something with it. So for me, it's really the exact same way. Even if I take one singular trade, I want you all to know that. And we might go a little bit long today. I'm sorry if I'm going off on a tangent. I apologize. But I will go look at some trades, I promise. But think about it this way. What if you go up 2 Rs in the first day of the month? Type in a 7 if you've ever done that. Very first day of the month, boom, you're profitable, up 2 Rs. Okay, I think a lot of us have done that. It's like, whoa, nice, what a good trade, that's cool. Okay, this 2 Rs should last, this is gonna sound outrageous. This 2 Rs should last you all month. The whole month long. If I go up at the very beginning of the month, I know for a 99.9% guaranteed I'm gonna be profitable that entire month. Most of you are like, there's no way. It's like, dude, it's from there, my whole goal is to not lose that too. That's it. Every single trade I take from there on out, I'm gonna do my absolute best to protect that 2 Rs. So the very next trade, let's say day 2 of the month, and this might happen tomorrow, right? Friday's a brand new month. I might hit 2 Rs in the first hour of the day. I don't know. But I'm going to be on pure defense. Day 2, let's say I take a trade. When I'm taking that trade, I'm going to literally look at that trade and go, is it possible for me to lose like 0.7 or less on this trade? And let's say I lose 0.7 on that trade. That means I have 1.3 Rs left. So the next trade, what am I doing? Am I basing my wins off of this, or am I basing my wins off of the 1.3? And that's correct. I'm now basing my risk and my wins off the 1.3 because that's all I have left. So the next trade, I'm gonna say, okay, can I lose 0.7 or less again? Preferably smaller. Hopefully like 0.2 or something. So maybe I do a little bit of a wider stop. Maybe I take a little bit of a looser entry. But again, let's say I lose on another trade 0.7. Okay, so I've lost 2 trades in a row, 0.7 and 0.7. Now I have 0.6 Rs left out of my original 2. So what do I now do? On the next trade, I go, is there any way I can lose less than 0.6? Is there any way I can lose less than 0.6? That's my goal. And I'll do that until I get to 0. Like if I lose on the next trade, if I really approach it saying, can I lose less than 0.6? Let's say I lose 0.3. So I now have an 0 for 3 win streak. 0 for 3 if I still have a profit. Type in a 6 if that's a little mind-blowing. Going 0 for 3, having a 2R trade, I'm still profitable for the month. Are you kidding me? It's like, yeah, I do that all the time. That's a day in the life of Newsom. That is all it is. It's not really that crazy. So, back in the day when I'm trading, day trading, and I'm looking to take a trade, I take a trade, I go up $200 on that trade. I'm immediately thinking, okay, I'm gonna take this trade and pay a bill. I'm gonna go ahead and take out $130 and pay my electricity bill for next month, even though I don't need it. Even though I don't need that $130 now, I know I have an electricity bill next month. I'm gonna go ahead and pay that now, and then I pay it. So now, again, my back's against the wall. My account has no real P&L, it's profitable in it, and now I'm gonna try to push forward. That's just how I like to do it. You don't have to do it that way. But what I will say is this right here that I'm discussing is crucial, mad crucial. I had a trader email me the other day. I think she went up like, 5 Rs last week. And then she said this week she went on a losing streak and lost all of it. Hey, it happens, but it shouldn't. I get it, that will occur, but it just shouldn't happen. Give yourself kind of like a rule. Give yourself a spot where you can never go back, right? So if you go up for a week or up for the month, you put your back against the wall and go, okay, well, like for example, if I make 5 Rs in a month, guaranteed, there's no chance on this earth I'm gonna go below 3 for the month. It just won't happen. If I hit 5, if I'm going below 3, I'm going to take I might not even trade again that one, you know? Tim Stout says, do you set up any verticals in any of the trading rooms? I mean, I set one up yesterday on Netflix. So, yep. I do indeed. In fact, I will pull that trade up, Tim. If you follow me on TradingView, you'll also get any of the trades that I post, but here's the credit spreads, current month. It was Netflix, which did fill. I'll post that in the chat pane for you, Tim. That did fill today. And I'll go into the published charts. So again, if anyone wants to follow, here's the published charts right there. My boy Seymour says, what was the implied volatility on that cookie? The implied volatility on those were 36%. Probability out of the money was 85. And this was the spread right here, posted on January 29th. I sold it, yep. Ricky says, I learned my lesson after being up 40 Rs for the month, not locking it in and losing it. The good news is I had nice, shiny, waxed legs for a month. That's right, folks. That's my boy Ricky giving true statements. He went up 40 Rs a month. Type in a 7 if you would love that. 40 Rs, and then he gave it all back. Oh, it cracked me up. Oh, man. You know? So I was like, dude, sorry, man. You got to shave your legs. Sorry. Graham says, first week here, but I've seen great things. I'm in. I appreciate that, Graham. I think you and I were chatting earlier today. I think you've already signed up. So beautiful stuff, man. But anyway, folks, that was just a little bit of a breakdown. I have not looked at NEE yet. I can put that on the list. And you said you're up 4.5 hours on it, Chase. So let me review it a little bit later, and I'll let you know. We're going to go a little bit long today. I'm sorry. By the way, guys, in all fairness, I usually go long about 3 days out of every week. So it's not exactly an hour, you know. It's my company, so technically I can go as long as I want. No one really complains. I just like talking charts and trading with everybody. So Jonathan says, I did a trade on Monday, collected 3.5 Rs, figured my risk was 0.2. Should I be sizing up on that trade till my risk is 1 R? Yes, that is correct. My girl Kathy says, great discussion and reinforcement. There are lots of recession news. What's your back trade study tell you? That news is incorrect. Yep, at least for right now. I don't think we're in a recession. Don't think so, not yet. I will say though, flat out, I'm definitely not the best with macro economies of scale. Falco says, Jay Powell tried to put us into one, but he walked it back. Yep, he tiptoed some of the statements back. It was going to get ugly there for a little bit, but you know, the whole Christmas Eve, Santa rally, bounce after, all is good. Graham says 2019 will be a good year. I agree. Okay, sorry I blabbed on a little too long. Not that anyone cares, but hopefully that was helpful. Just really important to know that is how I approach every single trade. CSX. So my boy Brad Runge has a put sale for February. Somebody was asking me about choo-choo trains yesterday, looking at a train stock. And here's CSX pulled right down to the 100 on a weekly. And this is beautiful. I love this pivot pattern on CSX. And just letting you all know, I don't personally trade CSX. Let me rephrase. I don't trade it often. I actually did have a killer swing trade on CSX back in December. But if this pivot pattern breaks out bullish, bye-bye. It's going strong, going long. Brad has a put sale, which expires next week. Sorry, 2 weeks from now. And that's really all I have on CSX. Today is a shave top candle. So if we close above the high of this shave top candle, it would be a relatively decent move, in my opinion, to go long. But I like that put sale, Brad. By the way, Diane, if you do a lot of put sales, you should be just right at home at Real Life Trading. I love selling puts. I'm a great put salesman. Lakeesh is throwing out some tickers. Let me put those on for tomorrow, NTES and Kellogg's. Got it. Baidu. Now, Baidu was fun because Baidu bounced beautifully. This was the 100 simple on a monthly chart. Tim says, I'll be taking the plunge and joining tomorrow. This week, already paid for the first month. My man, there we go. There we go, Tim. You and me and you. I don't know how that song goes. But thank you, man, for letting me know that. I appreciate it. And I'm excited to work with you, man. Ricky says he got in a Baidu 3 days ago. Dude, stop lying. There was no signal to get in 3 days ago. There was no gap and go right here in a retest 3 days ago. So I don't know what you're talking about. Doesn't make any sense why you would be in. Oh, man. This gap is a retest gap. We did make a higher high and a higher low today. And I like this. So realistically, what I was saying on Baidu way back here is I wanted to do a spread, but I wanted to wait for Baidu to hit the 100 because I just felt like there was nothing stopping it before it interacted with that price. I don't think earnings are going to be that tremendously bad on Baidu. So let me see if I can find a credit spread on Baidu for March. 140, 135. That's not terrible. A 140 option can be sold for about 90 cents and a 135 could be bought for about 60. So it's almost good. I would just say buy the dip on Alibaba. If it dips back into here, this is a good buying zone. If you like long-term bull trends, I mean, look at this on Baidu. Look at this trend. The line has been drawn for you. The Chinese Google, ladies and gentlemen, Baidu. Okay, next on the list is KSU, which is also another trading company. Pamela says, I noticed that you'll go back and forth between trading stocks and options. What makes you choose one versus the other? Seems like you swing more with stocks and day trade more options. That is correct. And also, Pamela, when it comes to options, I prefer selling them. Here's the time that I buy an option is when I'm really confident. Confidence can be a bad word, but when I'm looking at that chart and that chart just looks so clean, everything just looks perfect, gorgeous, phenomenal in every way, I'll take an option trade. Plus, every Tuesday, I send out a weekly options newsletter, so I spend a lot of time looking for options, for that direction. There's another thing that if the stock is, kind of expensive, usually like $140 or more, I'll be more inclined to trade the option on it, kind of for obvious reasons. I'm trying to think if there's any other specific place. I think that's really it. I think that's the best answer. I mean, really, if it's a super good directional trade, I will go in it with an option trade. But the day trading options, it's just so much easier to control your risk, in my opinion. So much easier because it's right there, I mean, it's that day you're going to know if you're right or wrong. And I kind of prefer that. Because with an option, man, so much can happen overnight with a stock and with gaps and theta and all that stuff. So I just really want to do it that day. So it's a great question, very valid. Graham says, how long do you stay in your swings? Usually less than a month. Because bill paying money, right, man? 90% of my trading is bill paying money. So those bills come every 30 days or so. So my day trading, my option sales, my swing trading, I'm going to try to get in, get out before the month is over. I will say, let me pull up CVS. I'm hoping that this is a fake gap down, which it's never a fake gap down, but I'm hoping it is. I'm hoping it rallies or something. If you had to ask me, why did I not, nope, it's definitely a real gap down. Why did I not sell my option today? Because the weekly options newsletter, I wrote that, hey man, we got to close above 66.48 or so before Friday. And I don't know what in the world is taking CVS so long, but it looks like it's gapping down. And I'm probably going to get stopped out of my options tomorrow, most likely for a loss. Why did I not sell those options today for about almost half an hour? I have no earthly idea. I think I forgot that today was the last day of the month. I think I forgot that. I thought tomorrow was the last day of the month. Because normally the last day of the month, I'll just close out of all my swings. Should have closed CVS, and it was gapping down. You know, I would have made half an hour rather than lose however much I'm going to lose tomorrow. I should have closed out MKC. So this one's the one that we've been in since this week, which is working well, by the way. I mean, it's really not that bad. So far, it's doing good things. We had about an R on it today. 128 and some change is the target, about 2 Rs. But I should have exited that one and CVS earlier today. And would have locked in a good R on both of those. And I didn't. I really, who knows? Maybe it'll come to me in a dream. But until then, what a dummy. What a dummy. KSU, Kansas City Southern. Woo-wee, go Jayhawks. So Kansas City pulled back to the 100 simple on a weekly chart. This is a very choppy choo-choo train company. Does pay dividends, sideways as can be. Trade down to the 100 on a daily and the 100 on a weekly. This is a perfect scenario for me to look to do a credit spread right here. Perfect scenario. Super sideways stock. March credit spread. $100 put sale is $1.50, and the 95 is 70. So that is 80 cents on a $5 stock. 80 cents. I feel like there's a good chance it can go into that spread. Just looking at that chart, like, is it really going to bounce? If I was a braver, better trader, I probably would do it. But I don't really trade Kansas City all that often. It does look like it's going sideways, though. If I had the money, I'd probably just do like a 95 put sale for March and just walk away. But I don't really want to buy Kansas City. Not really interested in it. I'm just going to move on. No real trade on KSU. Salesforce, on the other hand, has been a little bit of a monster. CRM up 1.8, nice bullish gap and go yesterday. Gorgeous follow through. Did anyone get a chance to pick up CRM? Been talking about it all week and been discussing that double bottom on a weekly chart, and it just kind of popped into there, hit it, and is bouncing. Salesforce, one of my favorite companies longer term. I love the volume. I like the company, reoccurring revenue. I like the CEO. Don't know him personally, but I mean, I like what he does. I know how the company makes money. This is one of the stocks I mentioned in my 2019 webinar, stocks to go long-term bullish on. I just like it. So Salesforce, good gap yesterday, nice little trend. Hourly chart looks pretty. Here's the hourly time frame. If I turn the extended hours off, you can see that we had a really just beautiful gap and a break above and a pullback today, so that's good. All right. FedEx, FDX. So FedEx is slowly working on filling this gap. We had a good discussion about this one yesterday. This looks real cute. Today's candle is a shaved top candle after an amazing UPS earnings gap. So this one, Pam, is one I would probably do options on. And you can probably guess why. Expensive little monster. This trade looks good. Here's what I would like to do on FedEx. I'll probably not make this one official because there's going to be a lot of newer traders trying to trade it. They'll be a little bit aggressive, but something like that, a breakout, a little bit of a retest, and then a pop. I like today's gap. Super small white candle. It has room to go into the 50. I doubt that sets up between today and tomorrow, but if it does, I'll make it official tomorrow, probably with an option. But feel free to keep your eyes on FedEx, Seymour. I know you're looking forward to fill that gap anyway. Had a good bullish gap yesterday. It is FedEx. They had their worst January, December. They're the worst December of all time in the stock price last month ever. Like ever. And then pull down to the 100, and we're starting to get a little bit of a bounce. FedEx will likely retrace this entire candle before the end of the year. And UPS is also a very good gap today. Here's Ford, ticker symbol F. And this is one of my least favorite companies on the entire market. Why? Look at the chart and tell me. Ugh. Let's play a game. What's the trend on Ford? Not going up. I mean, you could trade that in and out. I mean, it has great volume. You can definitely, oh, wow, that's cool. A billion volume every single month. Daniel says the auto version of GE. Man, I couldn't say it by myself. I'm just not a fan of Ford. You know, the stock, I don't know, man. It just doesn't look good. I know they pay dividends. They're not great dividends. It does have good volume. Sure, you can day trade it if you really want. It doesn't really move that much. If you were looking at going long on Ford, I would need it to close above 892, and that would be that. Randy says, what do you drive? BMW 750 Li. Presently. I don't mind. I mean, I don't mind Fords. It's just, I don't know. The stock's just not that great, you know? It's like whatever. Okay, here's Twitter. TWTR. Smack dab in the middle. Smack dab in the middle. Ain't nothing happening on Twitter. Not right now, at least. I mean, it is sideways city. This weekly chart doesn't look toasty. I like the weekly. Keep your eyes on Twitter because if she pops, she'll move. Robert said, you got rid of the Corolla? Dude, I had a trader, true story, I won't mention any names, but I had a trader who wanted to buy my car. Because remember how, like, when I'm talking about the stock market, like in the beginning of class, I always talk about buying my car, and I had someone go, hey man, by the way, are you ever serious about selling your car? I like to drive it. And I was like, well, I mean, if you want it. Yeah, the Corolla went to the wayside. Poor guy. Randy says, not the Corolla. I know. Hard to sell that, man. That machine is just nonstop. It's going to go 400,000 miles. But a trader has it. Good friend of mine, so all is well. Alex says, do you like Verizon? I'll put Verizon on the list tomorrow. I do like Verizon long term. That's the stock, Alex, that I'll put in, $1,000 into it. And if it pops 3 to 4%, pull it out, try to pay my cell phone bill. Not that my cell phone bill is $30. My cell phone bill is actually about $220, but I also pay multiple lines. Anyway, long story. I do like Verizon, and I'll put money into it ever so often. We will look at it tomorrow to see if it's a good option play. Twitter, keep your eyes on Twitter for a potential bounce. I'll put Twitter on the list for Tuesday of next week. All right, next on the list is Amazon. I heard someone talk about Amazon today. What's happening on Amazon today? Why is it down after hours? Is something happening? It's a joke. Oh man, I'm bad at sarcasm. It's not a bad gap down. I mean, it's interesting that the S&P is up and that CVS is down with Amazon gapping down. I mean, I'm really kind of baffled. This is a nice move. They don't own the world yet, says Thomas. It is a gap and go, but it'll probably be a little bit, it might be a fade. This is going to be a tough one to play tomorrow. I don't have a good beat on it. Let's just see how this one opens. It looks weak, but boom, boom, boom. This could be it. And we just start bouncing from here, and it's a chop fest all day. Joanne said they beat expectations, posted expected slower rates for next quarter, maybe under promise, overperform. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing with earnings, is they just really are a coin flip every single year. It doesn't matter if they win or lose, beat or don't beat, expect or go over expectations. It's just, it really is a blend of, has anyone ever mentioned a movie that was so good and then you watched it and you're like, it's okay, because they talked about it so much? That's what happens on earnings. Earnings are like Napoleon. What's that movie called? Napoleon. Is it just Napoleon? Napoleon Dynamite. So I was in middle school. Everyone talked about Napoleon Dynamite. They were quoting it. Everyone loved it. Greatest thing in the world. I watched it, hated it. Wanted to burn my VCR. Because yes, at the time, I am 30. I'm an old man now. But I watched that thing, and man, I just wanted to mainline Drano. Like, I just did not enjoy that film at all. That's kind of how earnings are. Like, if a lot of people expect something specific and everyone's kind of talking about it, and then boom, earnings come out and it's not exactly what they want, or better, or maybe it's a little bit worse, then you're going to get these gaps. And the best type of earnings that you can have is when no one really expects a lot and then something great comes out. I'm kind of like Forrest Gump, right? When the movie Forrest Gump came out, no one knew what it was. No one had really heard of it. No one had read the book. Not no one, but not that many people. And then when they watched the movie, they loved it. Those are good earnings. And that's kind of like what Apple did. And we'll look at Apple in just a second. But yes, I don't think Amazon's going to do very much tomorrow. Although I do know my buddy Seymour will be selling all kinds of bear call spreads tomorrow, and maybe even some bull put spreads, getting some spread action in and rock it from there. Joanne says, if you're an old man, then I'm a Methuselah. Daniel says, in film studies, it is a bias of not living up to expectations happens often because of being talked up by others. That is correct. Yep, and that can happen relatively frequently. Earnings, very similar situation. Hershey's, can't hate on chocolates. I did not see this gap down today. There was too many stocks out there to play. I would have bought that gap at some point for sure. I say that probably right above the high of this candle. I would have gone long. Hershey, great company. It's chocolate. I love chocolate. Love Hershey's. Transit property. Kyle says, your thoughts on GTX? I'll put it on the list for tomorrow. We're already going long. Hershey's, if I'm playing Hershey's, what I would like to see had this huge candle. Think about it like Whirlpool. It'll probably retest that massive candle and then potentially bounce. Not that we thought that was going to happen on Whirlpool or anything, but we did talk about that on Tuesday. So anyway, Hershey's, probably the same thing. Get that pullback a little bit, let it chop around, and then, you know, long-term bullish. Hershey looks great. Visa today. I watched Visa all afternoon did it actually bounce? Smoke dragons. I miss Visa. Oh my goodness. That is brute magoot. When did I quit watching it? 13, 14. Oh my gosh. Guys, so I had a coaching session this afternoon with a trader who wanted to get better at afternoon trades because his schedule, the way he works, you know, he can only day trade in the afternoon. I was like, dude, I thrive in the afternoon. I'm one of the best afternoon traders in the world. You want to do afternoon trades? Let's talk trading. And so we found one. We were watching Visa, watched it. I was just looking for a reversal this whole time, looking for a reversal. And it came down to this low and threw in that candle. Oh man, that's a 6-hour trade. Oh, that's so painful. I just turned the charts off and walked away. I guess 5 minutes too late. I shut it down, I think really 1350 right here. I just stopped looking at it. Man, oh man. So what's Visa going to do in a swing trade? I mean, a gap down. It was a gap and go. This is a very nice high wave candle. You can literally bracket trade this high wave candle just like this. If it breaks below, go bearish. If it breaks above, go bullish. That would be it. I mean, that's just a nice little high wave candle. I will say, I am going to pull up. Let me show you PayPal. I don't want to gloat, but this is the trade that I'm probably the happiest on all year so far. Type in a 1 if you remember me talking about PayPal fading yesterday. So we looked at it 3 or 4 different times. I was like, hey guys, if the gap's down, it's going to fade. We're going to play it bullish. So we did play it bullish. John has a put sale expiring this Friday, 85. And I'm going to show you the bad, then I'm going to show you the good, because there was a bad trade on PayPal. Well, was it bad? I'll show you all the analysis. So this morning, when it was opening, I wanted to buy at 87.50, but I couldn't really find a good stop loss for it. So I didn't. Because again, yesterday, I just wanted to go long at 87.50. Like I was saying, I was like, I just want to go long, 87.50. Look at this pre-market support, by the way, too. Look at this. So it could have just gone, I mean, that was the pre-market support, 87.50. I mean, I could have had a stop at 86.50 and I've gotten pennies away from getting trailed, 12 cents from getting stopped out. And that would have been a good trade. Didn't take that one because, I'm just terrible at my job. The next trade, so it trades up to a resistance. What resistance does it trade to? Obvious resistance right there. So hits that resistance, rolls down, and then this candle comes in. Now, when I send out the recording earlier today or later today, feel free to watch it. I hesitated for about 13 seconds too long, but I won my entry here with a stop loss right there. The reason I did not take that trade is because it did not make a lower low. That's why I hesitated. If it had gone a few pennies below the low of that wick, I would have been confident that someone would have gone in short. They would have been trapped, and I would have been a little bit more keen on the trade. So I didn't take that one. Now, it doesn't look like a big move, but that's an R&a-half right there on PayPal. That's a solid R&a-half. I mean, if you have a $500 R, that is $750 everywhere you slice it. All day. $750 in a day for pressing a button? Yeah, can you sign me up for that, please? I want to do that. All right. So when that occurred, I was all mad at myself. You'll hear me talking in the webinar. I was like, man, what a chicken. The reason I was proud about the trade is because I said, okay, I don't think it's going to do it again. Probably won't. But if it does, I will take the next one. And what I said is it needs to make a new low. And if it posts a high wave candle and a new low, I'm going to get it. Type in the 3 if you can see where I took the trade. The reason I was proud of myself, I mean, I do this frequently, but it's just good to reinforce. You have trades that you're proud of, right? You have trades that you're happy about. So as the trade's coming down, it's coming down, it's coming down. Bearish candles. So you have one bearish candle, two bearish candle, three bearish candle in a row. New low, not like a brand new low, but like a new low. It broke the wick of this candle. Look at that high wave candle right there. Boom. Got in above long, had a little bit of a conservative stop. Not super conservative, but a smidge. And what I did for a target, which was the exact high, by the way, again, this whole trade was just great. I measured how much money would I have made off of this trade if I took it, and it was 1.36 or something, like almost to the nose. So I said, okay, I'm gonna take that exact amount that I would have made, and I'm gonna measure that exact move, and that was where I got out right there. Best part is, it would have traded right down to support and done the exact same thing twice. I didn't do it the second time because my plan says if I take a trade and make money on it once, I'm done for the day. So anyway, that was the trade. I was happy about it. I planned it, talked about it, thought about it out loud, thought about it in advance, took it. Everything was good. Happy on that trade. From here, PayPal, I mean, having a little bit of a resistance pre-market. I would just do the same thing, honestly. 15-minute chart, if it trades back down to 87.37 tomorrow, you know, get in long. And if it pops bullish, get in bullish. It's a gorgeous high wave candle today. Watch out for this candle to break bullish. If it breaks bullish, hold on to your tennis shoes. I will look at PayPal tomorrow because John has a put sale. I want to make sure it expires worthless for him. Next on the list is NTAP, which is NetApp. This looks cute. Cute little bullish trend. I like it. You're about to hit the 50, which is 64.43. Weekly chart, you're battling the 10. Again, it looks like most of the market. I realize that, but it is bouncing off the 100 simple on the weekly chart. So here's what I would do. I don't personally have any positions in NTAP at all. But what I would do is personally let it break above this resistance, pop, and then just buy that really quick dip that happens most likely. So you could probably get in same prices now, a week and a half, 2 weeks from now, and rock it in from there. Joe says, does I got in mean you got stock, not options? For that particular trade on PayPal we're talking about, correct, it was not options. Yep. There was a trader, Jason was trying to trade it with calls, and I don't think he said he got filled. Axel, I don't know if he's here right now, but Axel bought too many shares on accident. Yep. Great question. Again, normally for most day trades, the vast majority of day trades, it'll be shares. Tomorrow, though, option expiration Friday, you never know. Micron, folks, keep your eyes on the prize. Micron is coiling at the 100 simple moving average. Volume is declining. Who can only hope for a gap up tomorrow above 39.35 because I will make so many R's or maybe lose not that many. Got a protective put on MU, got a put sale below MU. I am implementing hedging with options at its finest right now on Micron. And I love this pennant pattern. Hopefully it gaps up above it and just runs. $46 April covered call. This is another stock that if I had, you know, $10,000 or less, and was like, you know what, I just want to buy a stock and grow the account, it would be with MU. Buy low, turn around, do covered calls, get exercise for a gain, and watch and repeat. I like MU. Watch it, wait for it to bounce off that 100, break out, and run higher. 3 left. There are numerous traders in on QTT. Congratulations. Talked about this one. This was all day Monday. The low of this was exactly 871. So apparently, Julian and Tara, Justin, Frank, and Tim took all of my shares. I didn't even get a partial. Didn't even get a partial. Is anyone here in this particular trade? I mean, I'm going to track it with everyone since there's, you know, numerous traders are in. I mean, that's impressive. I'm glad that you're in on QTT. Beautiful. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Everything about that chart, man. Talk about a directional option trade. That's what I would have taken with a directional option. Thought about it, almost did it. Probably wouldn't have gotten filled on the option either. But anyway, nice little trend. If you're in QTT, great. Not, still a good trend to potentially buy the dip. I'll do two more. These two were requested in today's class. RPP, Real Page Incorporated. I love the double bottom on this one. Wow, that's very pretty. Look at this. Look at this. Just trade right into support. Talk about a high wave candle out of support. Man. I think I saw a one-winged pigeon carrying a stereo listening to Julian Michaels. Take a trade on this one. Right above the high of that candle. Beautiful entry. I'm not in on a real page, obviously. It's banging its head against the 200 simple moving average right now. Robert says, is his name Ferdinand? His name is Ferdinand, my man. You got it. Just crushing life. I will let this thing break out and then buy the dip if you're looking at doing it. Most stocks, I'll probably be saying that because right now, if you're not in on many things, you're probably a little bit late. And then my boy Chase is in Nextera on the daily chart with a candle that size. Yes, I would take my 4.5 Rs. Good job, Chase. And I would buy the dip again. The dip purchase would probably be 176.18, which is the high of the shaved top bearish candle right here, 176.11. So I would just buy the dip off of that. Huge bullish candle. Bullish candles of that magnitude, especially on a stock like this, will get retraced. So yep, I would lock in your gains. That's what all the algorithms are going to do tomorrow, and buy the next dip. Protect that 4.5 Rs though. Great trade, my friend. Folks, that's it. We have 1 day left of this greatness together. Hopefully you're learning good things. If you want to bring any questions tomorrow, you're absolutely welcome to. Happy to help in any way possible. Here's what I have on the list for tomorrow so far. NTUS, Kellogg's, FedEx, Verizon, GTX, PayPal. I'm going to look at Square because I have a call expiring on Square tomorrow. Starbucks for the weekly options newsletter, absolutely. CVS, great. Amity Jones says, I love it. Thanks for letting me crash, DJ. You got it, A. My pleasure. Dropbox, Blue Apron. Blue Apron, what are you doing? What are you doing, Blue Apron? UNP. So we got Dropbox and we got Box. Ticker symbol MO. Man, I missed a killer trade on that on Thursday. Sorry, not Thursday. Yesterday. Shopify, TWLO. Joanne says, thank you. Great class as always. Good night. Team from around the world, thanks for being here. You rock. And until next time, love life, and trade it. Bye.